Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Video Dente. My name is Brendan Zump, your host every week, because I'm the best. And then the slightly cool, but slightly not as cool as me on the other side, Helaman Higley. I'm sorry, Helaman, for not being as cool as me.
Yeah, we were discussing earlier. You've got the clock.
I know.
He's keeping time on that.
I actually have a giant clock, so I can
This is how he keeps the power.
No more tables, so...
I don't know how far into each segment we are or anything, and so I'm powerless here because he has the clock.
It's just this subtle coup that Brenton's been like.
But you know what? I've got my own watch. I'm going to start keeping time, and I'm going to take over.
Oh, shoot. I kind of wish that, I tried different ways in order to try to keep a hold of the timing that I'm actually doing for this thing. Oh, yeah, before I go in deeper, how about I go and introduce the guest for this week? It's
not important, just third guy.
Just the third guy in the middle. Corbin Sorensen. He is a video director, video producer. I've done a lot of stuff with him. He's also another person I work with.
Yeah.
Just like everybody else who's been on the show.
It's because you work with a bunch of great people.
I know.
We're all friends, which is nice.
Yeah. So going back to this, I try to find different ways in order to keep track of time, and this is the best thing that I've found. I try to use a speed gamer's clock. Because you can keep track down to the exact second of when you switch to a different segment.
Oh, would that be like the chess timer? Where
No, it's more of the lines, columns, and when you click on it, it goes to the next column. Oh, shoot. But the main problem is that it has this weird thing. The one that I had, I can only find free ones for Android, and the ones that I keep on clicking on just don't work. They do a weird thing that if this thing has less time than this thing above it, it has to go above it for some reason. I'm like, no. Yeah, so I just need to find and try maybe one that can work a little bit better. If somebody has a better speed clock that I can use, that I can put on Android, that I can switch to something else and it won't stop the time, that would be great.
And if it's the paid kind, sponsor it. Sponsor this.
Sponsor it.
Sponsor this the podcast.
Yeah, because the ones that I had were cool, and there's not really a broadcast clock that anybody has ever made for Android or even PC.
So this might not be the best solution, but it would look really cool. You can get Death Star themed egg timers.
Ooh.
It looks like a Death Star.
It would look really cool.
Yeah, we could hang it from a string. It'd be it could be right in front of your face, so whoever's guessing, but we can't see their face.
They're just
a mystery
clock.
Until they're introduced, and then it's da, and you just raise it.
That maybe that's a good suggestion. I might need to put that down on a new doc right here, right now.
There you go, Star Wars. If you want to sponsor us, if you're seeing this,
Disney. It's not like you don't have the money. We can do this.
Send us an egg timer.
Yeah, and we'll start pitching Disney movies.
What should we do for Disney movie? We should make another thing that's based off of some culture on the other side of the world that Americans haven't heard about because.
We could make
It'll
the first
be new
movie
to us, but some other countries this is 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
We could also make the first movie to feature microtransactions.
Yes.
Oh man,
I love that idea.
Even though
it'd just be called Microtransactions the movie.
Even though it might be
this
coming
would be better than Emoji the movie.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that congressman in Alaska Hawaii is trying to make them adult only?
Oh yeah, I've heard because they're trying to push for it to be considered gambling.
Oh yeah, the microtransactions in gaming, yeah.
Yeah, so
they're Sweden. No, is it Switzerland or Sweden? I think Switzerland was also.
Yeah, I can't remember, but it was one of those countries.
It's one of those two countries.
But it's
one of the SWA that we all love and know.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm okay with that, mostly because I just really don't like microtransactions in movies. I just like having the game.
I hate microtransactions.
If I bought the game,
in
movies.
Games.
I meant games. Right? I do hate them in movies. That's the worst. It's if you want to finish the movie, pay an extra $10. How about I just finish the movie?
First,
how about the DLC to see this part of the movie?
To see the ending.
If you pre-order your tickets to this movie, you get to watch the whole thing.
I think it's just how Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, or is it 2? I forgot which one, but they had this part where they're oh no, we lost this part, and so they skipped to the end, but this really crucial part that they missed out in the middle that they made DLC.
Really?
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. That is
EA.
That's
Ubisoft. That's Ubisoft. Yeah, just as bad.
Just as bad. Although, for me, I still like Ubisoft a little bit more than EA.
EA is kind of like dumpster tier at this point.
Yeah. Oh, that whole Battlefront 2.
I don't know.
It just
Battlefront 2, and I was already like primed
PR
to be like,
nightmare.
I was already primed to be mad at them after they like messed up Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh yeah.
Like that's such a good IP.
They've been losing people's trust like steadily over the years. It's just like, and I don't get it. They're like, their stocks have been going up pretty steadily, and yet their just total reputation has gone down. So it's like, okay, everyone apparently hates these guys, but everyone's buying their games.
It's like although the microtransactions were for the last Battlefront 2 were so bad that they lost the equivalent of $4 billion through stocks.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
But then after being the most downvoted Reddit comment in history, they released a statement, "We hear you. You don't like this. This was not our intention, though."
This is not our intention.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. You finally heard it. You finally heard after that.
And then the best thing is they didn't do anything to fix it. They're like, this was not our intention, but we're not taking it back.
Now all we're doing it is now you can't buy anything, but you still have to try to play in our system that's so broken where everything takes forever that we give you buying stuff as an easy way out. Except now you can't buy anything, so you just have a broken system.
Right.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh man.
It's always fun, like how to gain money, and it's always interesting what different companies try to do. I feel like right now the one that I feel like I trust the most is Project Red.
Oh yeah.
The people who make like Witcher and
other
stuff.
Isn't that CD Projekt?
Yeah, CD Projekt Red.
So he said the last two. You said the first two.
Teamwork.
See, on average, you guys nailed it.
This is why we're co-hosts.
He completes what I'm thinking, even though I'm still the superior one.
It's so humble about it.
So humble.
I'm going to go Super Saiyan some of these one day, and I'm just going to take over.
Yeah.
You're just going to take over? You're going to go on this side?
I'm going to show up and my hair's going to be blonde like you, and then you're like, what's happening? Like, I've gone Super Saiyan.
And like,
are you sure you didn't just bleach your hair?
Or you can get that like hair wax that they make now that can make your hair different colors.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's fancy.
I know. Very, very fancy. You can become somebody completely different. You can even become like Miss Frizzle.
Yeah, I guess you can totally be. I like that was the first one.
Or his younger sister, which is also called Miss Frizzle.
Oh yeah, in the Netflix reboot.
I do like to call her Miss Frizzle because it just distincts her from the original.
That's a good idea. I'm gonna start doing that to my siblings. Just be like, you're all Sorensen, but you're Sorensen, you're Sorensen, you're Sorensen.
Yeah, I think that works. You're the original, so
yeah. So I'm just Corbin, even though I'm like, whatever, somewhere in the middle of my hodgepodge of like siblings and step siblings.
But then since you're here right now, you know that you're the superior out of the bunch. So
I do. Yeah. I don't know of any other siblings that I have that have been on a podcast. So
you are the superior sibling.
Exactly.
Very good. Like, very good. I like to see that all of us are the most humble of people.
So
this is what I plan anyway. So thank you for being part of this humble pie of Video Dente. Anyways, like let's get into the topic of the morning because it's not the evening.
Unless you're listening to this in the evening,
then it is the evening. We should try. Time is universal.
It's 2017. Can we be all inclusive here?
Yeah, like, everything. It's 1 to 10. It's 1 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's 24 hours all the time now. Because people in China, they may not be hearing this because of like the whole how their internet works, but people from Japan, they can't hear it. So we have to be inclusive for them also.
Wait, are you suggesting they wouldn't be able to hear this because they're communist? Like, or is that what you're saying by how their networks work?
Yeah, like they kind of censor stuff.
I like to think that what we're saying could be listened to by communist nations.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
And then again,
would resonate with.
I am sorry to the communist nation of.
That's a huge market.
China.
You got to be like Disney and Marvel and stuff. You definitely don't want to alienate the Chinese.
I'm
market.
sorry. Like I have to repent. Like you guys are the best.
That's awesome.
It's like me and the Mormon coming out for this part. All right, so the genre that we decided to do for this week, we decided to pick on spaghetti westerns, and so I actually made a little bit of a history and like the reason why it's called spaghetti western. So the spaghetti western, I actually got this from spaghettiwestern.net. So.
Wow.
So that seems like it'd be a pretty
Very
good
authoritative.
Yeah, I feel like it should be pretty authoritative because it's people who love it. So
or also just the first person who took the domain.
Right.
Hopefully that's not how it became.
Dude thought he was making up his own idea.
His own idea.
Spaghetti Western sounds cool.
I think spaghetti western is pretty good.
This is just such a random pairing of words. There's no way this is taken yet.
Exactly.
Or it could be like a restaurant
What?
that
This
like
is a
tries
thing?
this, an Italian restaurant that does spaghetti.
Yeah. Or like an Italian.
Wait, isn't
like,
spaghetti already Italian?
Yeah, that's why I was.
I mean,
it's like Italian American fusion. It's like
Yeah.
a spaghetti hot dog and stuff like that.
Okay, I
except
get it.
hot dogs. Yeah, I don't know.
like the hot dog and like the bun is actually spaghetti.
Oh yeah, that
It's, like,
sounds
weaved
gross.
into
Let's
a-
try that.
Oh, I was
See,
picturing the
I-
other way around. Like you have a bun that's then filled with spaghetti.
Just filled with meatballs. That's just a sub.
That's
That's just a meatball sub.
I like those.
So that's a thing?
I'll have
Subway.
a jumbo
Subway
spaghetti
fresh.
hot dog, please. 1 foot
Yeah, 1 foot on a.
No, man, this. I think this is coming out really
toasted.
good. All right,
Please.
maybe we should go back to
Yeah, I'm
focusing
sorry.
on this.
I'm gonna derail us so many times.
I know.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. All right. So it says on here the spaghetti western was born in the first half of the '60s and lasted until the second half of the '70s. Its name is from the fact it comes from most of them are directed and produced by Italians.
Yeah.
So
Sergio Leone.
yeah.
Super good. And then Morricone. Ennio Morricone is also super good.
All right. Yeah. Those are the two directors that you.
Those are the
big
two I can
directors.
name. I'm sure there's a ton
Yeah,
more.
there's a ton more. If you get into the, actually, the name of the spaghetti western was originally a depreciative term given to foreign critics to the films because they thought they were inferior to American westerns. Although some Italians still prefer them, call the films Western Italiana, so I guess Western Italian style. In Japan, they call it macaroni westerns, and in Germany, it's called Italio western. So,
Cool.
very unique name. So if you in other parts of the world, that's what they're called. So.
I like that Japan just did what America did. And, like, instead of calling it Italian, they were just like, what's Italian? Oh, let's just use an Italian pasta, like macaroni western. And we're like, spaghetti western. And the Germans, at least, are like, we can just call it an Italian western.
Yeah, because I think it when I read further into this, like it was saying that like the Germans also they did a lot of work with them into making these westerns.
Okay.
So yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. So if you go into kind of like the terms and the main reasons what separate this type of western from like the normal American westerns is that this is like it says that spaghetti westerns are more action-oriented than their American counterparts. Dialogue is sparse, and then some critics have pointed out that they have constructed as operas using music as an illustrative ingredient of the narrative.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's probably the most famous one is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And what's the icon of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? It's the score, right?
The shootout.
The
Oh.
yeah.
It's like
It's the score.
That's
That's like
become
a
a staple
huge-
for westerns. Now,
Yeah, and it's a
that type
huge
of-
part of that movie, and so it sounds like the whole
And also
genre.
just and like the intro, it takes 10 minutes of like no music,
Right.
just sound, very, very different from like.
I mean,
more
the
talkative
main
type
character
thing.
of the whole trilogy is Blondie or the man with no name. Like they don't even name the character.
Yeah, that's actually kind of interesting to kind of bring up. And so if we continue on it, yeah, so like those are like probably the main difference is that they have a lot of like they deal mainly with more action, less dialogue. Right here it also says that a lot of the spaghetti westerns they deal with the American-Mexican border after like having Mexican bandits inside of it. Like they also feature the aftermath after the Civil War, and then also something more interesting is that it has a more Catholic feel because just because it's made by Italians and a lot of Italians are Catholic, so like the names that are used in them is like Hallelujah, Cemetery, Trinity, Holy Water Joe. Also, there's a lot more Catholic iconography in there. And then also just like the names are really different from normal, like the house like the themes of like the resurrection of the Christ. Then also like the names are a little bit different because like regular ones, like you have like Will Kane or Ethan Edwards, like for regular type like normal westerns over here in the West. But for them it's like Ringo or Johnny Earl or Django. Like those are not normal names that we would pick, but now it's become more normal inside the type of genre that we do now.
Cool.
Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of that foreign influence on a genre.
Yeah. Ooh. I guess that's what I'm inferior with is the clapping.
There went all my credibility.
All right, so
that's why I can't be a video director.
All right, it's just why you can't be the clapper.
Oh, okay.
All right, so like, what are some of the genre? Like, what are some of the movies that you've seen inside like the Western genre? I'm gonna probably make it a little bit easier because we might have not all seen like for me, I haven't been a big huge fan of Westerns, so I'm just like wondering like what type of genres Westerns have you guys watched?
I think I've definitely seen more just like traditional Westerns, but I've seen a couple spaghetti Westerns. I've seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which I love. Like, that movie's awesome. Maybe my favorite Western. I've seen Once Upon a Time in the West, which is also really intense. And I don't know. Maybe a couple others, but those are like the big ones that come to mind.
Yeah, like for me, it's one of those things that I probably saw a few when I was younger, but like nothing really comes to my head. I'm not. I haven't seen enough to really kind of remember any that I've seen. I think the biggest one that I can remember though is like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That one is
that's a really good Western.
Yeah, it is a really good Western to me.
Really Western
why are you bringing this up for Western movies?
Yeah, I'm confused.
I mean, if you think about it,
is
there's
it a
that
remake
one,
that I'm not aware of?
If you ever watched the original one,
it doesn't even take place in the West. It's like some random place in England.
Gene Wilder.
Have you even watched?
I don't know what you're talking about. Like it has a little kid with a musket in there. For me, it's all about the little kid. And
are you like talking about the Oompa Loompas with their sticks?
No, the Western kid. The guy loves watching.
Oh, with his revolver, yeah.
And that makes it a Western right there because the little kid. He's the genre of Westerns.
Knowing that this is what you consider a Western, I'm very excited to hear.
The pitch is going to be amazing.
I'm sold.
I think speaking of pitches, I think Hilleman should go first this week. So, can you just give us the name of it?
Yeah. So the name, it's far better than Floating Circles in the Sky.
Oh, okay.
I actually thought of a name this time.
Okay.
So that was last time.
I thought the whole title was far better than Floating Circle. I was like, genius.
There we go.
Great title, right?
There's no reason to give it out now. We figured out the name.
Yeah, way better. Than that.
So the title of my movie is The Legend of El Arma.
Oh, The Legend of El Arma.
El Arma.
El Arma.
El Arma being the gun in Spanish.
Oh, The Legend of the Gun. All right.
Nice.
Let's hear it. Like, what?
So the Legend of El Arma takes place in this fictional town called Mesa Roja, which is near the Texas-Mexico border. And this takes place after the American-Mexican War. And Mesa Roja was a huge supporter of the Mexican government in the war. And so after Mexico lost the war with the treaty and everything, and then they were annexed and brought into the United States with Texas, the entire city of Mesa Roja was in shame after that.
Okay.
And so it's just like kind of like a really pitiful state in this town. There's a lot of people that are drunk, and people are just generally sad, and the city was kind of like just downtrodden and looked down upon by other residents in the area from Texas because they were supporters of Mexico. And so the war took place about 10 years ago, and in the interim between now and when the war finished, it's been taken over by a gang.
Okay, so is this like a modern Western that you're making then?
No.
You said to now. Are you saying like now?
When I said now, I meant like the present day of the film, which is 10 years after.
Oh, okay. I mean, it would have been interesting trying to make a modern Western. That would have been like an interesting type of spaghetti
Western. There's been some
Western.
pretty good ones. I've seen a couple.
First thing I think of when you say something like that is like the modern day remake of Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
So,
Those
yeah.
That's all right. But
I mean, it does. That one does have our favorite actor in there.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Is that the favorite?
He is our heartthrob.
Heartthrob.
Yeah. I mean, not depends on if you like him or not, but I mean, he is a good actor. So,
He is good.
So back to my movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
El Arma, the Legend of El Arma.
Exactly. And so El Arma is one of the characters in this movie, but the
person.
Yeah, El Arma. That's what he's called, and he was the mayor sheriff of the town during the war, and he was a huge proponent for supporting Mexico in the war. And then after the war was lost, he was shamed, and he now lives in the outskirts of this town, and he's just always drunk.
Oh, cool.
And so the main character. The main
Sorry.
character of the movie is this young boy. I imagine being 14 or 15 now, and so he was 4 or 5-ish when the war took place, and so he kind of remembers how Mesa Roja was before the war, back in like its glory days, so to say, and he has just these faint memories of it, and he decides that he's going to reach out to El Arma and convince him to rescue the town, to fight back the gang and bring it back to how it used to be. And El Arma, he's just completely drunk and like he's just doesn't care. He's like, no, go away and stuff like that. Like it's not going to work.
All right. So I'm just wondering, does the sheriff? I'm kind of picturing him with an Irish accent. So is he gonna?
Oh no! Let me specify that.
Internet is hidden.
Is that your phone?
Yeah, that's my voice assistant.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for hiding my internet. I need to fix that.
You need to fix it from hiding the internet?
Okay. No, yeah, well, my screen's on. I'm looking down there, and like now my internet icon's just taken off my phone.
Oh, boy.
I need to put it back on. No, but let me specify. So El Arma, no, so he's not Italian. He is Spanish. Or not Spanish, Mexican.
Oh, okay. So... Not as cool as a Scottish guy, but all right.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, and this town. This town is predominantly.
Can it be his bro? Could it be Scottish? Like he hangs out with the Scottish.
He doesn't have a
deputy?
bro.
No. Oh man.
No bros, dude.
No bros.
Drinks.
All right.
The bottle is his bro.
Okay.
Drinks before bros.
How about the bartender? Can the bartender be a Scottish dude?
Sure, why not?
All right. There you go.
He just really needs a Scottish.
Even
though originally he said Irish. And when you watch this back, you'll see that.
Like one scene, he's going like, wait, didn't he have a Irish accent?
Like he changes it over time inside the scene. He's like,
Scene
wait.
to scene, he's a different guy. One point he's Italian, who knows?
He's like, I'm from the Great Isles, and he just keeps on switching. It's like, what part of it are you from? Like, you keep on switching from Welsh to Irish to Scottish to English.
But, yeah, so to bring it back to El Arma, and so the boy, he petitions to El Arma a couple of times to, like, come rescue our town. And also, El Arma, he's not the sheriff anymore and stuff like that. He's just the town drunk.
Okay.
But it's just he used to be. And so after petitioning over a couple of days, a couple of times, he comes to him one night when El Arma is just completely drunk, completely wasted, and he petitions him again. And with El Arma in his drunken state, he agrees to it. And he's like, okay, you're right, let's go take back my town. And he can like barely walk as he gets up. And he goes to the hangout for the gang, which is one of the saloons in town. And this saloon is the same saloon where the boy's mother works, which will be important in a moment. But his mother works there as a barmaid.
So like, is this gang that took over the town? Is it the leader of the gang? Is El Guapo at least like?
El Guapo, nice.
Yeah. El Guapo.
Like
Three Amigos.
Three Amigos.
It's a classic comedy western.
You see, I'm picturing my spaghetti western to not be a comedy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's gonna be very serious.
Take it serious,
right.
man.
But it still has an Irish bartender, so.
Well, those could be serious.
Oh, he's Irish
Those could
again.
be very serious. Yeah, he's Irish now.
Just as he said.
Switch back scene to scene. Here we go.
All right, you can complete what you're talking about.
I'm gonna. I am
never
either
had this much trouble trying to get.
I am either going to interrupt you constantly in your plot, or I'm not going to, but then I'm going to hold it over you for like how much better. I'm not sure what
So
I'm going to do
right now,
yet.
the power is in his hands. He can choose to exercise that, or simply to hold it over you.
Oh man,
Mm-hmm.
this is Some pretty serious deal.
So the boy and El Arma go to the saloon, the same saloon where the boy's mother works as a barmaid. And so El Arma goes in and he's like, see here, it's about time I take over this town and kick you out. And the gang leader, he just laughs at him. And he laughs at him and says, I'm not worried about you. It's like, we all know you're not going to do anything. It's like, you're too drunk. And then the boy is like, yes, he will. Yes, he will. You'll see. And then the gang leader then says, I'm not worried about him. He's never going to do anything. And then he looks at the boy. You, on the other hand, though, you on the other hand could be a threat to what I'm building here. And he goes to pull out his gun. And the mother sees this, and once he sees the gang leader pulling out her gun, she rushes out from behind the bar and starts screaming no, please don't shoot my son. And the gang leader tells her, this boy has foolish, stupid ideas, and everyone needs to see what happens to people that have foolish ideas. And the mother says, no, it's not don't shoot him. I don't know where he gets these ideas. Don't worry about it. He's going to be having another dumb idea tomorrow that doesn't even concern you. And then the gang
throw the kid under the bus like it.
The gang leader is going to say, you know what? These ideas had to come from somewhere. It was probably your bad parenting that allowed him to get these ideas. And then she says, yes, it was my fault. Please don't shoot him. It was, this was my fault. Just let it go. And then when she says this was my fault, he was like, the gang leader says, yes, I see this is your fault. Shoots her. And then said,
oh.
And then I picture
this is a really bad guy.
Not funny. See,
he's shooting.
I know.
He's shooting woman. That's like.
And then when I picture him, and then I picture him saying having a line which would be, see, this is how justice works: confession and punishment. And then he looks at the boy and is like, go run home now. And then he looks at El Arma and is like, I don't even care what you do. You're probably not going to remember this tomorrow.
Oh, shoot. He's calling him out.
And then...
If I've seen enough Westerns, and I think I have, now that's probably a bad idea, but let's see.
Yeah, so it comes to the next day, and the boy then goes to El Arma, asking him, why didn't you do anything? You said you were going to, take him out and stop him, and you just stood there while he shot his mom. And El Arma doesn't even remember.
Ooh.
He wasn't even wrong. Bad guy wasn't wrong.
He wasn't wrong.
Holy cow. This is
building
suspense.
He's saying he doesn't even remember, and El Arma says this is the boy's fault for trying too hard on this. It's don't you see there's no point? And then the boy, so he then takes off, but right before he does, he says, don't you realize you're the reason why no one tries anything in this town? It's not the gang leader, but it's you. As long as you used to be the hero of this town, and as long as now you're the town drunk, and everyone thinks if this is what you've been reduced to, then what chance do I have? And then he goes off. And so then El Arma, he's thinking about this, and this really hits him hard. And so then after a little while of soul searching and stuff like that, he comes back to the boy and tells him, we're going to make this right. We're going to avenge your mom and things like that. And so then fast forward after a montage of him trying to not be drunk and practice shooting and stuff like that again, because he hasn't shot a gun for a long time.
So instead of being the guy that's a drunk, but somehow his hand is still true, he's worthless at shooting now.
Yeah, because he's drunk.
Okay.
Yeah. None of this muscle memory Hollywood garbage. Real here.
Yeah.
Got to practice that.
Nobody has there's no such thing as muscle memory.
Exactly.
So the day
I've been on a bike for 10 years, you're gonna fall off it.
Exactly.
So the day comes that that El Arma and the boy planned to try to take over the city back from the gang. And so there's shooting scene going on for a while, and it's going back and forth. El Arma, despite still being a bit drunk, he still just has a lot of his practice and skills that he's relying on. And after a little while of the shootout, the gang leader then stands up and screams out to El Arma, and he says, "El Arma!" And it's let's settle this like men. Come out here. Come, and we're gonna have a shootout, or something like that. Exactly.
Yeah, there we go.
And the boy's gonna tell El Arma don't do this, and you can't do this because he got shot, because El Arma's gonna have gotten shot in the arm. during the fighting, and he's like, "You've got a shot in the arm. There's no way that you can like take him out with your arm as it is." And then Alarma's going to say, "This is what I have to do, boy, in order to make things right." And it's like, regardless of what happens,
do, boy. That's how he says it. I have to do it, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Except no,
Oh,
because he's Mexican.
Yeah.
dang it.
Still Mexican.
All right.
Don't worry, the bartender's still Scottish.
Oh,
Wait, no,
okay.
I mean Irish.
Or Irish. Or both.
No, he's Welsh right now.
Yeah, okay, he's Welsh.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So all this is like the climax of the movie with this final fighting scene, and then now the shootout, and we've gotten to the climax, and shootout's going to happen, and El Arma is going to successfully take out the gang leader despite his shot arm and everything. He takes him out, and he's about to pass out himself, but he's able to act tough for just a moment, and he like shouts at all the rest of the gang leaders and tells them, it's like, "I've taken out your leader, now get scram." And they all run off and leave town. And then everyone like rushes around El Arma.
much.
Everyone rushes around El Arma, all the residents that were like hiding in the buildings. They like praise him as a hero, and he's like redeemed his reputation and everything that he used to have before the war. And then he passes out from loss of blood, and then he dies.
Oh,
Ooh, that's a bummer.
it's the classic. The hero gives up everything to save the town.
Mm-hmm. But then before he does, before he dies, there's a passing of the torch scene where he's telling the boys like, "You're now the protector of this city," and he says, "This is all because of you. This didn't have anything to do with me."
It's like, boy, this is
And
all
then-
because of you, not because of me.
And then
Like that type of.
and then end credits.
I mean, not that type of voice.
Nice.
All right, that's really cool. So I guess
like
if you can like crunch that down, all that you said down to like a quick synopsis, like 30 seconds.
Okay, quick
And the name.
synopsis. The quick synopsis of The Legend of El Arma. It's about a disgraced war hero. Well, not even war hero / former sheriff of the town who redeems his reputation to rescue the town from an evil gang, and in the process of doing so loses his life.
All right, so for the second one, I think I will go for this one. Just
We're skipping you.
saving you for
No, let's
last
deal.
because like it'll just be great to see how you have built yours. The master.
Hey,
of
sorry, I'm
Western.
interrupting
master.
you while you're.
It's all right.
He's using it. He's not going to hold it.
I'm
I couldn't
okay.
do it. I
Immediate
couldn't do it.
gratification is what healing's all about.
I think this is what I'm about. Like I always feel like mixing up a little bit more, talking, giving a good discussion, trying to figure things out. This is what it's all about. Being on Video Dente, it's all about making the best thing.
Don't try to spin this and take the take the high ground.
He's really taking the wind out of
I
his
mean,
sails right now.
I mean, I helped you figure out that you need an Irishman inside the town, like a random
or
Irishman
Scottish
in a
or
Mexican
Welsh.
village.
Wait, that wasn't like helping me figure out. That was like a concession to like so I could get back to so I could just get back
Did
to
you help him
talking.
figure it out, or did you strong arm him into it?
I mean,
Sounds like a
strong
mafia
arm.
thing. We
and-
helped you figure this out.
a strong arm and helping, it's like the same thing, right? Like when you strong arm somebody, you're also helping them understand what you're.
Understand that you're right.
Yeah. It's so you're welcome.
Wow, this is sounding like Big Brother stuff from like
Yeah.
what we were talking about like last week. It sounds like big governments type
Yeah.
stuff.
Except I'm not a
What?
big government. I'm just me.
He's Brenton.
But you are the host of this podcast, so in our circle, you are the big government.
Oh,
Ooh.
in this circle right here.
Yeah, but we're
You're
not
the
talking
one
about
with the
governments.
clock.
We're talking about
See,
Westerns
you're
right now.
withholding information.
You are. You
Like-
withhold your time information.
Like dictate.
I mean, if you haven't watched, then all of you guys know what's going on. I have to.
I had to watch since I was.
I
Like,
mean, if you're on this seat, you have to pay attention to the actual timing that's happening.
it's true.
So I have to pay attention to the time and the clock. There's so many things that I have to do. That's
Got a
why
lot
I'm
of
the best. I'm
responsibilities.
sorry.
That's why he
Yeah.
asserts his dominance over everybody else.
Because you're better than me.
Yeah.
Like, I have to
we got
do
that
more,
at the
so I
beginning.
get to do more.
We got that at the beginning out. Like, yeah, totally. I'm the best. That's what I feel like I get from everybody. Everybody like thanks me at work, and I'm like, it always kind of feels weird because like for me, it's like I know I'm the best. You just tell me how bad I am. Like I need that more often in my life.
I know I'm the best.
You need to like remind me how bad I am. I need to get humbled
You know,
sometimes.
I'll make
Sure,
sure
he
to tell
does.
you how bad you are more often.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
And if there's enough like readers or watchers or listeners, not readers, who reads this?
Yeah,
Who
you know, there's
reads
like,
podcasts?
Deaf people?
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. But yeah, if you guys want to leave comments, just really berating Brenton, keep him humble.
Okay, yeah, very helps him.
Make
helps him
sure
out a
like
lot.
when you're leaving the review, still give like a 5-star review on iTunes for it, or a thumbs up on YouTube. But then just be like, I hate Brenton.
Yeah, I'd be like, the whole thing was
no.
great. Brenton,
You could always put down a star. Be like, it's only 4 stars because of Brenton.
No. We want the 5 stars still. Give us a 5.
So like Helaman wants the 5-star, but I want the 4-star because you guys, I'm not worth that star.
I am.
For this episode, do 5 because I'm here. I want 5 stars as well.
Okay.
It's 2 against 1.
So. All right. So yeah, now.
And now we've already covered the shameless plugging part.
Okay.
We don't have to do that at the end.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Did I
so-
help that? Yes.
Yeah. So now I'm just got humbled down a bit. I got humbled down, and now it's my turn to kind of talk about my my humble story about a humble man in a humble town
Is he Irish?
in the West.
Scottish.
Yes.
Yes. I don't think that didn't seem convincing, but
Of course, he is always Irish because a lot of Irish people, they did move out to the West because there's a lot of stuff to get done over there that English and other people didn't want to do, and so they gave it to the Irish because they were less than the English. That's how it goes in history. It's Irish, the Chinese, and the African Americans. Like they're all kind of. African Americans more, but like there was always this kind of discrepancy among, for some reason, white people as well.
this seems like
I'm just trying.
some deep waters.
I know. I need to stop like treading into this. I need to get out of there.
Let's talk about the movie.
Anyway, so this movie
don't
has
wanna
to
get
deal
too
with a
off
man. His name is I can't remember how to say it. Dang it! Like it was an Irish name, so it was like really hard to say.
Yeah.
Figured it out, and then I
Kushlamackery?
forgot it. Huh?
Was it Kushlamackery?
There we go. We call him
I
Kushlamackery.
think that means sweetheart.
All right, so he's a sweetheart.
Oh, nice.
Kushlamackery. That I guess it could be his last name, but so anyways,
Or that's his nickname.
Oh yeah.
So this in this movie, which is called Chains to the West, so it's actually more ominous story, interesting. It's actually more of a rescue mission type movie.
Cool.
So like what happens is that the little backstory about this guy is he was more of like a bounty hunter type guy in the West. He would go and try to make sure that these certain people were in the right place. And so the backstory is that there was at one point where he caught somebody, and but this guy was affiliated of a gang which is too close to home, and so this gang decided to like injure his family. Like they injured him like crazy. Like they tarred and feathered him. His son lost his leg because of what they did to him, and so like. So like after this whole thing is now he's like living on his own little range, trying to keep away from this type of stuff because it hurt his family. But what basically happened is, as he did this, one night the one morning when he comes out and he goes to work, he goes to his farm, and he realizes that there's like this guy and this kid, like this white guy and this Indian kid inside this farm. And so what he figures out is that there is this discrepancy with this group of people, and they actually took and they're going to try to blackmail this president because they found one of his bastards. So like one of his kids that they had with an Indian woman, and they were going to try to use him to kind of show evidence that this was his son in order to try to bring down something, try to make this president not look as good so this other candidate could win. So like this was just really bad black politics that was happening in the West at this time. And so basically this guy, he helped save this kid, and as they're journeying back, because like he has to go back to the east to go find his son. So basically, what happens is that he needs to get there faster, and so everybody points to this guy who was the fastest trailer in order to try to capture people, and so he goes try to talk. He tries to talk to him in order to basically try to get him to go take this kid. And so at the same time, what kind of happens is that the deal was made is that he'll help get his family. This other guy will help get his family to the east, out of this area, and he would help promise to get the kid there fast. And so basically, what happens is that they make the deal. He sells everything, but you don't really see that in the background. But he starts journeying to the east with this kid. I think the main reason why he does that is that he's already trying to plan and trying to move out to the east, and so this was kind of the deal made in order to get out there easier. Was to use this federal guy. Yeah, nice. and so basically what happens is now the whole journey of it is. Man, you're really bad at berating me during this thing. What happened to that?
We're really wrapped.
I know. You're really wrapped into this, and I'm just like, what's going on? Like, there's no conversation going on.
I'm just a better person than you.
Oh.
Yeah, see? Now he's holding it over you. Now he's doing the other part.
Man.
I'm doing both.
Okay. Like, I actually have to bring this up.
I think you only got like 1 point. I don't think you can start spending it both ways.
No, I've been doing such a good job. I got my comment in, and then at this point, I'm doing such a good job. He's even commenting on my lack of commenting.
I know. Like,
clearly, he got you to interrupt yourself.
So clearly, I can do both.
He's making smooth moves. He's gonna be holding the clock.
I'm just like, holy cow! Oh man.
Yeah, I feel like
stand on the clock, watching the clock and watching the audio to make sure that we're not going over.
I'm just gonna hold all the things, but you still have to
do all the work.
I'm just gonna hold it. I'm just gonna hold all the things, so I can feel important.
All right, so I guess basically what happens is as he going as they're journeying to the east, he is being followed by the same gang leader that did this to him, that injured his family, hurt his family, because as there's a bigger bounty, this underground is being told about this, so now he's being chased by them, and basically what happens is that there's this one point where he's going down to the end, and he learns that his family has gotten captured and the guy who was following them, the guy who was protecting them, he actually got killed, and they basically are going to try to make a trade in order to try to save his family, and so basically this guy. He's trying to try to save them because the little kid is like, oh, you need to go and protect your family. You're trying to save me and get me back to mine. Maybe it's your turn to try to. I'll make sure that your family gets there safely also. So, this kid is he's a cool Indian dude, Native American.
Returning it, nice.
Yeah, he's he's been they've been both good to each other during these journeys and these fights with these gangs. That he helps him out and he kind of becomes his little helper and also helps kill the bad guys in a way in order to protect the family, and they escape, and basically all these gangs at once, they also get somehow into a trap because of them knowing, and they got close enough to the east that all of a sudden these other people come and help them out as they're trying to escape with his family. And so in the end, they capture the bad guy. He gets revenge on the guy who hurt his family originally, and the president's son was saved without making this a big issue and blackmail. In the end,
checks out all the boxes.
Yeah, he overcame his weakness pretty much. That's what it always is about it. For me, a movie is always a weakness is more intriguing than just something happening. Yeah,
gotta have a weakness. Gotta have some sort of vulnerability.
Yeah,
nice.
So to sum this up, to make sure I was following you, so there's this bounty hunter, and he was then badly burned by this gang and his family.
So he wasn't badly burned. I guess it could have been the most common way of kind of ridiculing somebody, tar and feathering,
right?
That type of stuff that happened back in those days. His son, he lost a leg because he was shot, and so had to be amputated because of how bad it was, and just other bad stuff happening to his wife and stuff because he betrayed a gang. So basically,
right. And then this same gang, fast forwarding, this same gang is now trying to capture this Indian boy in order to blackmail.
So it's more of a bigger group of a gang. So it's not just this guy, but it's also a bigger group. But it's being personified. But it's being personified by this one gang now.
Okay.
And so it's being personified by this one gang, but it's really more gangs trying to capture it.
And so the bounty hunter agrees to help out this boy because he doesn't like the gang.
Because his main thing is how he wants to get his family to safety. Because he's felt like he's no longer a bounty hunter, he's more like a farmer. But now he's feel like he's being ridiculed by this gang because of what happened, and so now he's already humiliated by the gang, and so when he's leaving, now he's being chased because he's like the fastest. But what's happening at the same time is that it's a little bit harder. Even though he's faster, his family's keeping up because of what's happening. But then the gang that's personifying the problem, they realize that this other couple, like this family, is going this way as well, and so they capture them and make their fastest guy go and kind of be like, hey, you got to go save your family, you got to trade in, or your family's gonna die.
Right, and then that's where the Indian child was then saying,
yeah, like the Indian kid is,
nice.
Yeah, he's like, let's go save your family, because like they've been journeying for like this last half hour to hour in the film. They've been hanging out on their own, having to do that, and they're talking to each other, get to know each other, and so they build a relationship and understanding with one another.
Nice, I like it.
Yeah.
Chains of the West. That's a good title.
Chains of the West. So Chains of the West starts with and so I guess like the summary for Chains of the West, if I would put it in a way, it's basically a man trying to get a president's son back to him, and as that happens, he has to go save his family because they're captured.
Ooh,
I got the clap.
There we go. He keeps on getting the clap before me.
This is how I'm gonna start taking over.
Yeah.
It's like gonna start taking over, but then I have to like fight you, and like stuff will happen. And,
then I feel like in the end, if we do have like a really rough breakup, it's like, fine. I'll be like, fine. I'm gonna make my own podcast, and then I'm gonna like, wait, can I borrow your
all your stuff?
Can I borrow
all your stuff?
Can I borrow all?
Well, do you need my help with anything? I know how to clap and talk. I just don't have any other stuff.
I would need help setting it up and borrowing all of your equipment.
Yeah. But other than that, you can leave.
You're like, so basically, I'm just going to be I'm gonna be the guy in the back of the camera, and you're gonna just do your own one about something.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell my Western story uninterrupted with no Scottish bartenders.
Welsh bartenders.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, that was still the best part of
I don't know. I think Alarma was pretty awesome.
Alarma? I mean,
the main character.
Yeah, I know. For his. I mean, I don't even know my character's name anymore. It was about like hope or something. Like I forgot.
It was a sweetheart.
Sweetheart,
Macri. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's from $1 Million Baby.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
So
I got that from $1 Million Baby, and yours is a drunk Mexican that saves the day.
Yeah.
I mean, that is pretty cool. That is pretty worthy.
I mean, do you want to watch a movie about $1 Million Baby or?
I'll have to say, $1 Million Baby is pretty good.
If we're going westerns, definitely.
It does have the biggest Western actor in $1 Million Baby. Like one of the biggest one. Disney was it?
I think I need to point out a major flaw with your movie. There wasn't enough Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
I mean, I wasn't going for that type of modern Western. I was going for the old-timey type stuff.
Oh. Yeah. Not a modern Western. It's not a modern British Western.
Okay, so
about candy.
Next week when we're doing the modern Western English genre,
the candy genre.
That's what okay.
Okay, yeah. That's a whole different genre now. Willy Wonka was the first one to start it,
and the only one.
And the only one,
because everyone's like, they did it so well, we could never enter this. Actually, Tim Burton tried.
I mean, Tim Burton tried, but like he kept away from the genre, the Western genre.
Yeah,
he's kind of sad about that.
He have the Western kid.
Yeah, what a jerk.
I mean,
did he not have Mike TV?
Well, yeah, but he wasn't like a Western kid. He was a gamer kid. He like completely shunned the heritage of the modern Western English genre. Yeah.
Oh man. So
he betrayed his roots. That's
totally,
why he didn't succeed.
I know, like they totally betrayed who he was. And I mean, the Oompa Loompas, they became Indian in that one. They weren't just orange people. I was kind of sad.
Yeah, all the orange midgets.
And they all looked exactly the same, right? That was creepy.
Yeah, that was really creepy.
Yeah, I remember that. And they sang songs, but it wasn't like the just like fun Oompa Loompa song.
Mm-hmm.
It was like
Okay,
weird
hip hop
genre.
version of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, okay,
Freaked me out.
but in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, their songs were weird too, and I was like, this is what you get for being a fat kid that tries to eat chocolate.
Theirs were like brutal.
Like,
Theirs were brutal in life.
They taught real lessons.
It's not real lessons. If you decide to eat that chocolate and he tells you no, you're gonna get sucked up inside a sucker
Yeah.
and get turned into liquid.
Yeah, and I was like,
listen, if
this
you're
is your
greedy,
fault. This was your fault.
If
sorry.
you chew gum, you deserve to die. Is essentially the story.
I mean, it's one of those
Violet
things.
Beauregard.
He kept on warning her. He's like, "Hey, you can't don't do that." And she's like,
She is a gum
Frick
chewing
no.
expert, though. He should have been thanking her. She was a world champion gum chewer.
Yeah,
If
and-
anyone could critique it, it was her.
and now she'll forever have floppy
You know-
skin because she decided
what?
to become a giant blueberry.
You know what cracks me up? What's his name? Stole stuff. Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
And in the end, spoilers if you haven't seen this super old movie.
You lose!
You
You get nothing!
And then he gives the everlasting gobstopper back, and then he wins. But the gobstopper isn't what he stole. He stole the fizzy lifting drinks
I think
against Wonka's wishes.
See, you have to think
and
about
still
it.
gets rewarded for it.
The whole thing is
Yeah,
about
he made
humility.
just as big of a mistake as all the other kids, but
Yeah,
But
I guess
it's-
it was that he was
he-
apologetic.
I
Yeah,
mean,
he's
he almost got
apologetic,
sliced up by the
humility,
fans.
Those
That's
good
true.
stuff.
Well, those other kids might have been apologetic after too, but it's just they
Yeah,
weren't
we
in
didn't
the
get a
movie
chance.
anymore. Like I bet
Yeah.
I bet Violet Beauregard, when she was a stretched out chewed up piece of purple gum
Taffy, the
thing,
taffy puller room.
she was probably apologetic.
Yeah.
Like, hey, sorry.
They didn't get a chance to apologize. Charlie did. Just because he burped.
I mean, that just makes Charlie, I guess, the best out of them.
I
probably
guess
because he's
He
white.
made the
White
It-
privilege.
it does still
Except they
s-
were all white.
Oh.
Yeah, they're all white.
Yeah.
Just Charlie was the poor white.
Yeah, he was poor, so he deserved it.
Yeah, he deserved it.
Although Mike TV's just sitting there eating TV dinners in
It
front
probably
of his TV.
did. This did take.
Tells me that
in
that
Detroit, though,
screams
right?
like lower middle class to me.
This did take place in Detroit, right?
No, I think it's England.
In England, all
Detroit.
Americans.
Wait,
in
no,
Have you
England.
seen this
yeah,
movie?
it totally is in America somewhere.
No,
Wait,
it's
is it?
not.
No,
They're all
Oh,
white
the Candy-
people. They're
the
all
Candy-
white. They all none of them British accents.
the Candyman totally has a British accent.
Who?
The Candyman, sings the song at the beginning and.
Isn't that? I'm now confused.
I'm really
I
wondering
don't
if
I
he's
didn't watch
act-
this movie
I'm
again.
starting to
It's
wonder if
been a
he's
while.
actually seen this movie. You're calling it
But
a western.
everybody
You're
has
calling it a
American
western at the
accent.
start,
None of them
and now you're
have.
like, wait, this is in Detroit. You're like, what?
None of them
Uh,
have English accents.
Veruca Salt is English. And
Okay.
Her dad.
So, okay, Gunter.
I thought one of them
Gunter,
was
he's
German.
German. He has a German accent. Violet and the
'Cause well,
Western guy are
that's
both
'cause-
from America, so of course I have an American accent.
That's because the
And
tickets
Charlie has an American accent.
He
tickets
has-
go all over the world.
He has a poor British accent done by a young child. He's doing the best he can.
And his mom has an English accent.
His mom, his whole family, Uncle Joe, her grandpa Joe.
They're senile.
They forgot that they're British.
they forgot.
All right.
their-
So how about we get back to the movie time?
Yeah, I'm
Let's
not
go
sure
to
how
the-
we keep getting on a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in this Westerns episode.
All right. How about we just get back to that? The final one from. Oh shoot, I'm peeking. Oh well.
Yeah,
the
you
third,
moved in a lot closer to the
the
mic.
final-
That might have
This is
something
gonna
I'm
to
be
just
do
trying to
with
get personal.
it.
I'm trying to get ASMR
Hey,
in here.
Hey,
Now it's time for the third and final one from Corbin Sorensen. His Western film. I don't know what it's called, so let's ask him. What is it called, Corbin? What's the name of it?
So the name is not super planned out, but I think it works. It's Water Through the Canyon. Is
Alright.
what I settled on. But
Water
I didn't
Through
think
the
I
Canyon.
thought of I knew I had to come up with like a movie and everything.
Yeah.
Did not even think to come up with a title for this movie that I thought of. Until
I
today,
mean, that is
so.
our policy. We do not tell you everything, so you have to try to figure this thing out.
Perfect. I love it.
It's perfect
It makes
policy,
it fun.
right? Yeah.
Keeps you on your toes.
Keeps you on your toes. Except for me, I know everything that happens because I'm the host.
It's more if he thinks of it and then doesn't tell us.
I don't tell you until Friday, the day of.
Yeah, like I showed up this morning. Oh, by the way, we're going to give a description about spaghetti westerns and everything. I'm like, oh, great. I'm just gonna sit here and listen then.
Yeah, so definitely some changes happening.
Andy took away the table.
We don't need the table.
We had water bottles on it.
We had water bottles last time that we used the table, and so you just have to be patient. All right, just Just
So it's
calm down.
It's an evolution.
Yeah, it's gonna change over time. As you can see, did we got some awesome chairs to sit on?
We did get. You can't
My
see
name's
it
not on
behind
this
me.
yet.
Yeah, like right now, like if I just stand up and yell very loud so you can hear me. If you look, we now have some of these
Sweet director's
comfortable tables.
chairs.
Yeah, not tables, chairs.
We got really nice director's tables.
All
They're
right.
exactly like regular tables.
All right, so what? So just give us like tell
All
us
right.
the story. Like,
Here's the story of water through the canyon, and I don't think I have as many details as you guys have.
okay.
But I do have like a full plot synopsis kind of thing. So there will be a dude, like, there's this town in kind of the middle of nowhere in the West. This is post Civil War America, and there's a small town right at the crossroads, like, of kind of this, I don't know if it's like a highway or whatever, but just the more traveled routes in the West.
Maybe
Okay.
like a railroad track.
Yeah, and it's got a railroad station, and it's next to some water, like just like a river, a small river, but a river nonetheless. So it's kind of this little hub for, like, cowboys and
Indians,
travelers and stuff like that. Just all sorts of people
All right.
in the West.
Sounds cool enough already. So
Yeah.
I think it's over. I think that's a perfect
And that's
movie.
the whole movie. Yeah.
All right,
No.
that's really good.
No, so that's kind of the setting.
Brenton's mad there's no Irish person already, so I'm done. I'm done with this
I'm
movie.
out.
Done. No Irish person.
Ending podcast.
Any good Western should have
Can there at least be like a Filipino in this one?
Sure.
Okay, there we go. Got a
That's just
Filipino.
what you gotta do for me.
Yep.
Sure, whatever.
So, in this town, there's been talk of kind of nearby towns being bugged by, or bugged is kind of a putting it lightly, but harassed by this gang, and there's a guy that we kind of hear about the main character through this, but the main character is like this he was like a Civil War soldier, not like a general or anything, just a soldier in the Civil War. But he's pretty rough. He's pretty, he's just kind of a skeptic about everything and kind of a downer. And, definitely turns to the bottle. I think that's a good common ground for a lot of
Always a
Westerns.
good Western. Just get your guy drunk as possible.
Yeah,
because
make him a sad drunk.
if you think about it, like we have that one movie. What is it called? Hangover. That
Oh yeah,
always
leads
has
to-
a journey
leads to
because-
all
Oh
sorts
yeah,
sorts
so
of
another
shenanigans.
classic spaghetti western, the Hangover
yeah.
trilogy.
yeah, I mean
Hangover
drunkenness
trilogy,
is.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Now we got those two westerns, modern westerns down. Let's continue on this story.
So this guy, former soldier in the Civil War, set up kind of a new life out in the West in this little town. Kind of keeps to himself. He has a brother, and you find out and you kind of learn that his brother also fought in the war, but he afterward, just because of the really intense, like, hard life of being in war, which is terrible, turned more to like to that gang life. So he is part of this gang out in the West, and this gang eventually comes through this town, this kind of little central hub, comes through this town, and they go through, they like rob some stores, just kind of the classic come down Main Street, cause some trouble, rob
Hassling
some
people.
the general store.
They go up
run
to the
by
ice cream
old
place and
Filipino man.
They're like, we need your ice cream because
it's hot.
it's
Yeah.
hot.
And also, does ice cream exist yet? I don't think so.
Ice cream's been around since the Middle Ages, I'm pretty sure,
Oh, nice.
or at
It's
least
a
like maybe
premium.
Victorian times.
Is that real? Oh,
Pretty sure.
man, that stuff's the best.
Yeah, so they want like that person's ice cream, which is also called and back in the day it was like called like the
Ice
cold gold of the snow.
Oh,
Just very
that
fancy.
sounds very true.
Yeah, very true. I'm not lying at all. It's the truth.
So yeah, they come down, classic come down Main Street, do all this stuff, but they also like kidnap. They kidnap some like women and leave, and so it's like
Wow, man.
it's not good stuff. It's not good stuff that these gangs are up to.
Was it like the Filipino's wife that they steal?
It's a couple people.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know. I'm not sure exactly
All
who.
right. All right.
But so the town is like, hey, we got to do something about this. Like, they're gonna like rape and like steal our women and steal from us, and they're gonna ruin our town. We have to do something about this, and we have to save like our wives or daughters or whoever was taken.
Is this actually is this just a reimagining of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers?
This is just a really the brothers are a lot worse in this.
It's a reinterpretation.
They are actually killing people.
Yeah.
Wow.
And here's the thing. Now that I've like dropped the R word and said rape and like brought up how like kind of intense this whole setup is, in my mind, this is like written by like the Coen brothers or Martin McDonagh, where it's like
it's actually a fun thing.
No,
right?
it's not fun, but it's like it's like this really dark comedy. Like there's like witty banter and kind of funny observations. Are you saying that
this is that rape is a good thing? Like
no, absolutely not. But I think
because just to let you know, Video Dente, we did not condone rape. It's bad thing.
Right. But I think they just. Like, I think the Coen brothers and also Martin McDonagh, I don't know if you guys know him, but he wrote and directed, like, 7 Psychopaths in Bruges and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. And that one just came out.
And he's just like, you watched that last night, right?
Yeah, I went and saw that last night. It was great. But those two have, like, this just total knack for taking something just dark and heavy like that.
Yeah.
And making things, like, and making you laugh, like, moments after you shouldn't laugh. There's like so I think that would be pretty great, where it's not just a knee slapping comedy like 1,000 Ways to Die in the West, but more kind of this dark, like, kind of black comedy.
Okay. Just bad stuff happening.
Yeah, but still we can laugh about some stuff.
All right, so if you can tell me the ending, like what happens at the juicy ending.
So the town kind of gathers this posse. They want to go and get their women back and kind of stop this gang if they can. They go out to follow this gang. The main character does not go with them because he's like
doesn't go with them.
No, he's like poop to that. So there's kind of it's going to be one of those situations where they're he's not the sole main character, but he's like the most main character.
And so like what I'm kind of picturing for like this main character though. I'm kind of picturing that it might be John Cena, right? Is he the main guy?
No, he's not.
No, okay.
No, he's not your typical like dashing action hero kind of thing. I actually pictured Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon,
who I love.
Okay.
And
so I am sorry, folks, that it's not John Cena. Just to let you know.
Sorry.
Sorry, but.
John Cena's great.
The commercials could have been like the John Cena memes that were a big thing a couple years back.
Yeah.
But then it just keeps
John
going.
Cena.
And people are like waiting for the joke, but then it just
really is.
But
John
then
Cena,
there's no like joke to it, and then
I love it. And it's kind of that dry anti-joke that makes it fun.
All right. So
they chase these guys, and they're kind of going up, and they chase them into this canyon, the nearby canyon that this one of these roads goes through, and they're ambushed. This posse is ambushed, and the one dude, or not the one dude, but like the soldier guy, the main character that was left behind, he's in town. And meanwhile, while the whole posse, including like the sheriff and a couple of the deputies and stuff, have left to go get their women back because this is super important, they've left the town pretty defenseless, and then like more of this gang comes in and starts taking over this town. Man.
And so like what I'm now envisioning, since like this family went out of town, he stayed at home. Is this like does he like set up traps for these type of people? Like is it now becoming more like a Home Alone type?
It could kind of hint maybe a little bit at Home Alone, but that's not going to be like the sole way that he ends it all.
I could maybe see maybe traps in the same way that there was set up in Hateful Eight.
Yeah, it could
at least the remake. I haven't seen the original, but the remake, they prepped the town and there was like bombs and things.
Or it could be like the Three Amigos.
Magnificent Seven.
Oh, sorry, Magnificent
I was like,
Seven.
Hateful Eight, I don't think it's a remake. But yeah.
Or it could be like a
Three Amigos.
The Three Amigos where like they do set traps.
Yeah, I think there will be a definite kind of.
Might be closer to how they do it for like Home Alone, where it's like some kind of quirky thing that they like try to set up with like little kids' toys.
Right. So they
get a little bit of like some of that like humor that you were talking about in there. Perhaps like some of the traps are a little bit off kilter.
Yeah.
but-
Right, yeah, it'll be a little off,
like a little
left to center.
But it
like,
wouldn't-
like,
but it
like a
wouldn't,
little
feel awkward
kid's
the genre at
rocking
the same time.
chair
Yeah.
makes a gun go off and shoot somebody.
Right,
Yeah.
so something that you can kind of like snicker at, but not really like laugh out loud funny
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Home Alone. And so he does that. He's not totally successful not him, but the other people in the town are not totally successful in stopping them. So now the town's been kind of overrun. The sheriff is gone, and this posse they haven't heard from. So he sneaks out of the town, takes his horse, and he's like, I have to find this posse. We need everybody we can get. So he goes up searching for them, and now he's kind of the outsider, seeing this posse all trapped in this canyon and kind of tied up, held at gunpoint and everything, until they can hear back from someone. So he has to kind of sneak his way in there and, take out a few of these guys. And this is kind of, because spaghetti western to me is one of the big differences, that it's kind of this sprawling thing. So I wanted it to take place in like multiple areas, like in the canyon, in the town, on the road kind of thing. And so he gets there, long story short, through some very exciting and intense action scenes, he's able to, sneak his way in, cut loose or, help untie and free some of the posse, and they can fight back. So they kind of take these guys out and go back into the town. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. His brother is one of the guys that came into the town with this gang. And they go down. They fight. His brother is going to be played by Steve Buscemi also, because they both have those really kind of gross-looking eyes. Michael Shannon and Steve Buscemi. Yeah, so I thought,
Gotta get those eyes because it's just the most characters, right?
right,
there. Yeah.
totally. And then they go back, and it's this big confrontation, kind of this battle, almost like it's like a battle. It's not a 1-to-1 shootout like a lot of westerns. Kind of this battle between like the gang and the town's like posse and stuff. And then obviously within this battle there is the brother on brother climax, fight out.
Fighting off against each other, the good guy versus the good brother and the bad brother.
Yeah, and so it's like, I want it to be like this pretty heavy thing, because it's like, it's like brother on brother.
It's like,
and
holy
it's
cow,
post Civil War,
they're,
so it's
trying
kind
to
of
fight each other.
reflecting that brother fighting brother
Okay, I get it.
thing.
It's like
Kinda
brother
parallel
fighting
there.
brother, and one of them's the Confederate, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. We could
Okay.
we could totally do
Okay.
it that way.
it,
If one of them's a Confederate,
he's
I
like the
think
bandit
maybe
Confederate.
maybe the main character though, to kind of spin it the way you wouldn't expect.
Okay,
So like
it's like
the one that didn't turn to crime was the Confederate, but the Union guy turned to crime,
Ooh,
but just
very good.
because it was hard.
So let
you
me
know?
guess, the Confederate, does he shoot his brother and kill him in the end?
I think so. I think that's the way I envisioned in my head.
Okay.
Just he ends up having to kill him, and it's kind of this heartbreaking moment
It's
for
like,
him.
no.
And the audience watches, and they're like, "This really sucks."
Is he like crying in
So
the end?
would
Is
you
it, like,
see-
tears coming out?
Yeah, I was going to ask similar. So would you say that it's hard for the brother, or is the brother just like really cold and it's just like just
No,
takes him
I
out?
definitely want it
like,
to be. I want it to be like this kind of build up. Like he's been cold for most of the movie. Like I said, he was a cynic, kind of turned to the bottle. Didn't care for his brother. Like he was mad at his brother for turning to like gang life and everything. So then in the end, when he has to like do this, you think that like, lazy writing would say that it was like Edie just does it because he's like, I have to save the town. But it's like, we want it emotional. We want it kind of overcome some sort of flaw, and this flaw is like he has to actually like shoot his brother, which sucks, and he's gonna feel that. It's gonna be a like heavy emotion for him.
Yeah.
And then they save the town after this whole battle, and
Now he's happy, but
and
it's like
bittersweet ending, very emotional but still happy, and
Sorry.
definitely darkly funny through the whole thing.
Sounds very good. All right, so can you just again for more time give us the name of it and a quick synopsis?
Name and quick synopsis. So Water Through the Canyon is the title, and it's a movie about a post-Civil War America, a post-Civil War Confederate soldier that has lived a life of pretty much solitude in the West, and when a gang comes through his town and steals and kidnaps women and children and stuff, it's up to him to kind of protect the town when the posse leaves to get their people back. and things just get more complicated from there. I guess it's kind of the log line. I don't know if you want like full synopsis. If we go full synopsis, it's
it's just
he
the log
he
line.
then
I just want
chases
something
them.
tiny,
all
and
right.
just he's going after it. Just because the shorter version, like I'm just also let you guys know, on camera, I'm also making shorter versions so people can quickly see the quick synopsis in under like a minute, and they can just make their choices and vote for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now-
One thing I like with Water Through the Canyon, I like the larger cast that yours has. I feel like for both mine and Brenton's, it's more of a small cast.
Right.
But the thing I liked with your larger cast is I feel like it could provide a lot of just like cool dudes doing like cool dude things, like these like
kinda
these
that.
Yeah.
this like with his posse and they're all like just really tough cowboys and things like that.
Right.
And
Yeah,
I feel like there's some like not too much dialogue necessarily, since it's not like spaghetti western style,
Right.
but I still feel like
So
there'd be like some
people
cool
doing stuff.
scenes set up of just.
And I think that is one difference. Like you guys definitely had like the spaghetti western feel in like the small kind of lone hero or small cast,
Yeah.
which is very spaghetti western. Like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is like it's about one dude.
Yeah, because
So-
if we go back to the beginning, it was that spaghetti westerns didn't have a lot of money in order to make the
Right,
film.
so it was like small cast.
so it
So,
had
you
to be a
guys
small
you guys
cast.
stayed true to it in that, and I kind of went with like the big sprawling thing, but I also had a lot. So we kind of, I think all of
Took-
us kind of did
took different things that
took
we like
different
from the
things,
genre.
and then
Different
also
parts of
brought
it.
in other parts of traditional westerns.
Which
yeah.
which I think is really fitting too, because I mean that's how spaghetti western came about. Is
Right,
It's also
they-
just an evolution of the genre. You don't always pick every single thing that makes a genre work. You can always pick like
you
one or
pick
two
your favorites,
things.
and it was like, but
Yeah.
then you bring in some other ideas, and
I think what would be interesting for yours is how to make it interesting and having a lot of people, because I feel like a lot of times it can be broken. It can have a lot harder time having all those things
Right,
together.
having to mix those all together
Yeah.
and give people like the proper amount of screen time that they deserve.
So like
and stuff.
people can actually connect and like those different people. All right, I think it was really good. And anyways, you can after this is set up on Saturday, I'll start a vote, and everybody that's listening to this, you can actually go and vote for your favorite synopsis that you guys like so far for it. So.
we'll have a poll running for that on Twitter.
Yeah, we're gonna have the
Sweet.
poll for all
On
three of
Twitter.
them going on Twitter
Vote for
and
yourself.
also on
That's what I did last
Facebook. So
Yes.
Wait, last time I voted for you. You know,
yeah,
I
mine
just go for the
won.
best.
Mine won by one vote. One vote.
That was me. So if you guys want to get out there and vote, we
Yeah.
can do some more votes, because right now I kind of decide who wins.
Wow.
Last
Yeah.
time, the time before last
Get
time,
some
I
votes
decided I
going.
win. Last time you won, because
Yeah, all right.
Nice.
So you can do that, and also you guys can put in your own like little synopsis for next
Ooh, yeah.
week's.
Let's get lots
topic.
of movie ideas.
Which I also forgot to try to see which one that is. But yeah, so I'll put something on next week. We can get some cool ideas, because like not even ours, you guys might even have better stories than what we had this week. It'd be cool to see what you guys have. But anyways,
but we won't read them next week unless there's an Irish guy in there.
Right.
yeah, it has
Or
to have
Scottish.
Irish or
I mean
Scottish.
Irish.
Welsh.
No, Welsh.
Welsh.
Dang
One
it.
of them. Yeah. So anyways, you can, and as for me, you can actually follow me on Twitter at the Blonde Stump. So for Helaman,
Yeah, so you can find me on social media channels at Gila Monster. Monster spelled with a 0. And if you want to check out some of my professional graphic design work, you can go to my portfolio site, helamanhigley.com.
Nice.
how about you, Corbin? You got any cool social media stuff?
Social media stuff? I don't know. I don't use it for like business stuff. I have a YouTube channel.
Alright.
It's right now. I think it's just called Corbin though.
Corbin,
I'm,
all right.
I'm in between names because my previous name was very unprofessional. I'm trying to make it more professional.
All right, so you can find him on YouTube at Corbin.
Yeah. If you look up Trail Mix Corbin, that'll be a short film
There
that I
you go.
created.
Yeah, so there, Trail Mix Corbin.
The thumbnail will be a little redhead girl.
The little redhead Corbin.
Like Wendy's?
Kind of.
So,
Except
like, I
very
guess-
sad looking.
Oh.
It's like Wendy's, but with human flesh.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
play it that way.
He saw that. Yeah, he saw the.
I saw the movie.
the
So
short film.
yeah,
It's a good time.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you guys for listening in, and we'll see you next time.
Mwah.
Yeah, that was fun.